Color theory is one hell of a doozy, is the problem with color theory. There's a lot of very simple aspects to it that we can understand, but putting them into practice are a whole different thing. You have to understand that color equals value and value equals color. Every color has a certain range of value. Obviously, we have it like super bright up here and like super dark going to black. If I come over here and I put this red here, it's like very bright, obviously. And then I can put this super dark red down here, right? You can tell there's one's lighter, one's darker, but you have colors like yellow that are naturally brighter or appear more saturated. And I'm picking very saturated colors here. But if I take this layer and I flip it to grayscale, for example, see how the red is just a naturally darker color? A moment ago, you saw this really, really bright red, right? And you're like, that has to be a light color. Because if you think about the color wheel, you think about super dark grays or really light grays. Red naturally is a darker color on the scale of value, whereas yellow is a much brighter color in there. Another part of that is like, if we look at a regular wheel of color, and you'll see like all of these brighter colors between like the yellow and the green and the blue, and then colors that are darker in value are going to be here on the other side, which tend to be like the warmer colors a little bit, except for like this blue purple down here. When you look at the actual color of yellow and red, they're very bright colors, especially like the red that we like visually. It's super bright reds, or like very deep reds, like things like blood. And I understand not everyone likes blood, but if I take the same wheel and I do a value scale, for example, 1 to 9, if you take that red, it's somewhere between that 7 and 8. This red right here, we're not able to tell where this is at in the value range, right? So we take this layer and we just bring down the saturation so you can kind of like layer it. So this red lands somewhere between the 7 and 8, but that yellow, it's like a 3 or 4, right? It looks like it's somewhere between the 3 and the 4. It's not as light as a 3, I think. If you aren't sure, for example, so with my screen up right here, and you see like the art section on the split screen between Procreate and this Google Chrome tab, one of the best ways to be able to tell the values of something that I was taught is squint your eyes, like where things are kind of blurry and you just see basic shapes or basic values. If you look at the right side, the super dark one, those colors, when you squint your eyes, actually blend together. In the grand scheme of things, if you tried separating them, it really wouldn't work because the value difference between those two reds isn't big enough to make a big difference in your image. So that's another way that you can tell if something's really good, like value wise. So if you flip your colors to grayscale, you'll be able to see what your values look like. So if I go back and I pull some other piece like this one, for example, you didn't see this. All those colors changed in value, right? So you have all these reds and these blues, but that's a blue purple, and that orange is more red than it is yellow. But if I go forward and I flip it over, that yellow on the hair is whiter. It's closer to that 1-2 scale, right? Behind the hair is more of a 6, like the neck is a 5, so on and so forth. That's how you measure it. Like that's how I measure my pieces. This is my current Morgan of 2023. If I look at my old Morgan, this is what she looked like before. This was last year. This is why sometimes redoing your pieces is a big help to see where you're at artistically. I have an array of different values throughout the entire piece. The highlights in her hair are brighter. The shadows have a very specific value. Her wings and her outfit are darker value because they are darker colors overall. You can see the differences. You can see the shadows, right? Even the highlight on her nose looks significantly different and good. That's my super in detail, informative video, which will probably end up getting edited and posted on YouTube. So if you want more educational art-based videos, apparently I'm just doing a series now on my YouTube from my streams about any relative informative art stuff. So feel free to go follow me on YouTube. Just gonna throw that one in there.